wanted to just show you real quick what I got from Azure. I don't buy huge like yearly, like a year's worth of flour or whatever. I try to buy a quarter's worth. And then sometimes I have to get caught up a little bit on some other things, but I mostly use them for pantry staples that are shelf stable, like sugar, salt, flour, that kind of thing. And I will leave a link to my affiliate link for Azure so that you could order for them. And if you don't know what Azure is, it is organic foods that are at a incredibly cheap price. Kind of like Sam's Club for organic foods. And it works a little bit differently because you have to go to a pickup point to go pick it up. There's not like a store that you get it from. And they can deliver it to your house. It's just the delivery is a little expensive because it does come on a huge freight truck. But the pickup points are free. So you can go there and pick them up once a month, and you order once a month, and then you can go pick up your stuff. But I just want to show you some of the stuff because I want to get it unpacked so that I can use it and put it in all my jars and everything so that we can start using it today. This is onion powder, organic, GMO-free, gluten-free, kidney beans. I also got some black beans too, black beans. We've got some raw cashew pieces. And this is organic buttermilk powder for making ranch dressing mix or to make up some buttermilk really quick. I don't keep buttermilk in my refrigerator. It is easy enough to make, but this buttermilk powder makes it a lot easier for me. We love their Italian seasoning mix. I could make my own Italian seasoning mix, but it's all organic and GMO free and gluten free, and it is really inexpensive, and they've done a great job at, you know, putting that together. So we use that. Raw almonds. This is organic garlic powder. This one is organic pepper. This is actually one of our favorites. This is raw milk cheddar cheese, aged over 60 days. And what we actually do is we cut this into smaller pieces and then we vacuum seal it and put it in the freezer. Freezing it makes it a little bit crumbly after you've defrosted it, but overall it shreds and slices pretty well. But that's one of our favorites. And then I got 2 big bags. I believe these are 10-pound bags of flour because I use a lot of flour because we make all of our own bread and pasta and crackers and, you know, all that kind of stuff too. So that's my haul from this month, and I will make sure to leave the link below. If you're interested in learning more about Azure, please feel free to use the link to check it out for yourself. So we're going to make some bratwurst. I'm going to try not to get in the way of the camera. I might have to move it around a little bit, but I just wanted to show you how I make my bratwurst. So first, everything has to be chilled. I use my KitchenAid mixer, and there's a certain way that all the parts that have to go together. Now this meat already has all the spices in it that whatever recipe of sausage you're doing is calling for. It's been diced. It's a pork butt because it's one of the cheapest ones, and it has a good fat to meat ratio for pork sausage. And we cut it up into cubes and put the seasoning all over it, and then freeze it for about at least 30 or 45 minutes before you do it, because you really want the meat to be cold and the fat to be cold because it's easier to deal with. I'm making bratwurst right now, so it calls for some spices that you might not normally have in your pantry. like ground mace, but you can get it at grocery stores. So here in Texas, they have it at HEB. But Texas has a very big German community, so you should be able to find unusual German spices for sausages like bratwurst. I've also included a little bit of lard in this recipe because bratwurst has a higher fat content than a lot of other meats do. And I'm grinding it using a medium setting because I prefer that ground of meat, but if you like something a little bit more minced, you could go with a smaller setting, or if you like something more coarse, you could go with the chili setting, but the disc that I'm using is the medium setting. I'm not going to be making a whole lot of bratwurst today because I don't want to use all of my pork butt to make bratwurst. We do eat it quite a bit here. But we also like breakfast sausage, so I'm going to use the other half of it to make breakfast sausage as well. So this is so easy and so inexpensive to make at your own home. Bratwurst isn't that expensive, but you have so much more control over the finished product. Actually, this Boston butt roast is from a hog that we purchased half of a hog last year, and this is one of the roasts left over from that. And I'll tell you, we have really enjoyed it. We're not a big pork family other than sausage and bacon. But we did get a whole lot of pork chops that we were able to share with other family members that do like that kind of cut of meat a little bit better than we do. But I did find some more inventive ways to use pork chops than I have in the past. So we're going to take those sausages right here, and we are going to cook some of them up. I'm not going to cook all of these up. Probably 2, 4, 6, make 6 of them. So I'll put 2, 4, 6. We'll put 6 away, and then I'll serve it with some of the homemade sauerkraut that we make, and that will be a dinner for us. Editing Lindsay here. Apparently I filmed in my ear the entire time. I was actually putting the sausage in the casing. Sorry guys, I'm still learning. Maybe I'll get to film that another time. Better luck next time. Y'all, real life. It's taken me like 4 or 5 shots to even be able to do this video, and now I've resorted to just hiding in my office to do it. Just so you don't think that this is easier or anything. So, one other thing that you can do while you're waiting to get to your homestead or your farm is you can start growing things. Any kind of things, anywhere. You can grow them in pots, you can grow them in a windowsill, you can grow them in the ground in raised beds, and you know, just anything that you have. Even if you're in an apartment or a condo, you can start growing things. And the first place to start with growing things is seeds. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the seeds that I have and my process for selecting seeds. I order from a couple of different places, and once you start ordering from those places, you'll start getting catalogs. There's only one catalog that I pre-order, and that is the Baker's Creek catalog. It usually comes up for pre-order in the end of the summer, and then you receive it around the end of November. And I usually get a lot of my other seed catalogs around that same time. And I first have to go through all the seeds that I have to see what things I need to order more of, because I do save a lot of seeds from the fruits and vegetables that do very well for me. And then I like to try new things every year. And then some things I can't or don't collect seeds from, I have to reorder those seeds. But I just kind of wanted to go, and I also usually try to order those before the middle of December. And the reason why I do that is because usually by the end of December, or definitely by the end of January, they're out of a lot of the newer seeds that I wanted to buy. So I try to be one of the first people to buy them. And I don't buy a crazy amount of them because I'm just trying them out. I usually get 1 or 2 seed packages depending on how many seeds come with it. Okay, so let's start going over some of the seeds. Oh, because I know some of you guys are going to ask. This is how I organize my seeds. These are actually photo organizers. You can order it on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. You can label them and categorize them however you like to. And the seed packages fit perfectly in them. So definitely recommend that. I have 2 of them. They're also really easy they're like a briefcase with a handle, so you can take it out to the garden or set it up on a table or whatever. It's easy to transport. So I do now order a lot of flower seeds because flowers are really important to the garden. I didn't used to order flowers before because I was like, you can't eat the flowers. There are some edible flowers, but I just wasn't a big flower person. And I didn't realize how important the flowers were to the garden. The flowers are super important because they bring the pollinators into your garden, and you need the pollinators because they're the ones that are going to make you have better fruits and vegetables. So it gives you something pretty to look at, some flowers to cut and put on your table, but it also helps your garden to have better fruits and vegetables. So zinnias is one of my favorite, and I always get something from the Queen Lime family every year. This is a Queen Lime zinnia. And then I also got a pink, like a salmony pink zinnia this year. Very pretty. And then I saved some purple and yellow zinnia seeds from last year. And once we get to the seed saving part of the year, I will definitely show you how to save those seeds. I have celery seeds. I've been using the same package for a couple years. I don't have very much luck with celery. Carrots, a couple different carrots. I've been growing the Danvers from Mountain Valley Seed Company. I've been growing that one for a couple of years. That one does really, really well for me when I use the board method. I got this Uzbek Gold seeds for free from Baker's Creek. And I tried these last year and they were really, really good. I like them. They're really deep orange. Those are also from Baker's Creek. Melons. We don't grow the big fat melons that you see at like the farmer's market and the grocery store. We grow personal melons. So they're usually anywhere from like golf ball size up to about a softball size. And those are my favorites. These are a couple of new ones that and I always get new ones. Got a couple of new ones that I'm trying this year. So Benny. And then Crimson Sweet. And then this one I've tried to get for the last 2 years, and they've always been sold out of seeds, even in December. Good jar. That one's a real famous one through Roots and Refuge. And I think all of her fans buy those seeds out every year. Mustard. I love mustard. I know everyone's really big on kale, but mustard is its spicy cousin, and it grows really, really well down here in the south, and it grows like a weed. You can absolutely neglect the hell out of it and it will still grow for you. And my favorite is the giant red because you only need like 2 or 3 leaves to feed a whole family. And I actually got those for free this year. Onions. So I usually grow onions from sets, so those are starts. But this year I am going to try to grow some from seeds to make my own starts. And I have some Tokyo Long White, that's a green onion. And then these are some red onions from Mountain Valley Seed Co. I'll show you the back because it doesn't have the information on the front. Corn, I do have corn seeds, but I don't grow corn because corn needs to really have some dedicated space. It needs a lot of cross-pollination, and so if you're not willing to grow a sizable amount of it, it's going to be difficult for you to have success with it, so I just don't even bother. Kale, everyone loves kale. Always get the blue curled kale, the Scottish kale. It's always a favorite. And then the Dinosaur Kale. And then this is a new one for me this year, the Dazzling Blue. And I think that's about it. Now spinach. For whatever reason, I've tried to grow spinach a bunch of different times from seed and I've just never had any success with it. So I'm trying another variety this year. So this is one that I tried last year. It's called strawberry spinach. And apparently you could do stuff with the berries as well as the leaves. But like I said, didn't grow for me. I have been assured by everyone that I know that if I grow red Malabar spinach, which this year would be my first year, that I will never have to plant spinach again. They say it grows like a weed and you'll never get rid of it. Plus, it's my understanding that you can use the berries as a natural dye. I have to go back and look at that. But so I'm hoping to have success with that. Because I'm a Texan and we live in Texas, I am required to grow tomatillos in my garden. I try to stick with Texas varieties like the Rio Grande. And then I also have some purple tomatillos that I grow from Seed Savers. I have artichoke seeds, but I've never grown them. I do have blackberries growing in my side yard, but I also grow sunberries. Now, sunberries are interesting because they are a little, kind of like a little black blueberry. They have a sweet sour, and then they have a real grainy texture because the seeds are really tiny in it. Last year was the first year that I've grown it, and now it grows everywhere in my yard. So apparently the birds take the seeds everywhere. Also, I've noticed that when I do my walks through the neighborhood, they're growing all throughout my neighborhood. And so there are little snacks all around my neighborhood on my walk. So I guess once you plant those, you can never get rid of them either. Cantaloupe. If you like cantaloupe, I actually got a cantaloupe I really liked a couple of years ago in 2019 at the farmer's market. And we really, really liked it. It was the best cantaloupe we ever had. And I've been saving the same seeds from that cantaloupe ever since then. And these are the seeds from last year. We call it a champagne cantaloupe because it's very sweet. And it's very, very good. And so that's one that I can save the seeds from every year. I also have Lima Beans, but I found when I grew Lima Beans, it attracted a lot of rats to my garden. So I do not plant those. There are a lot of other greens besides kale and lettuce and mustard that you can grow. One that I tried last year that kept on getting eaten down to a stub was this purple lady bok choy. It's so pretty. I'm going to try it again. I grow purslane, which most people have growing in their yard as a weed, but I planted in my side yard as a treat for the rabbits because it's super high in protein. I got some blood dock this year to try. It's very pretty in salads. I don't remember if this is bitter. Yeah, this is a bitter dock. Sometimes docks can be spicy as well. And then I also have collard greens, which is kind of like a non-spicy mustard. I like mustard better though for the same amount of room. And Swiss chard, same reason. I don't really grow that one because I can grow green mustard and we like it a lot better. Then I have some Luffa Seeds. Once you buy Luffa Seeds or get some Luffa Seeds, you never need to buy them again because each Luffa is full of hundreds of seeds. So we just save the seeds from that every year. And it usually replants itself anyways. So I've never had much success in this garden in growing eggplants, but I still try every year. I just try a new variety. This is the one that I tried last year that didn't grow. This is the one that I'm trying this year. And that's it for box number 1. So, box number 2. We have squash. So I don't really grow a whole lot of summer squash like the zucchini and yellow crookneck squash that everyone sees at the grocery store. It takes up a lot of room in your garden. A lot. Like, way more than you would believe it would. More than the package even tells you it will. And we have hella hard time with squash bugs. It's just not even worth it. For the amount of room that it takes up in my garden and how much fruit I get off of it and all the bug problems, like, I just rather not. So I actually plant winter squash. Now, winter squash doesn't mean that you plant it in the winter. It means that you can put it away and it will last longer. It's a longer storing squash. So you grow it in the summer, you harvest it in the fall, and then it lasts the whole winter. So I always try to do my old ones that work for me and then try some new ones. I really, really like Native American varieties of squash. I find that they have more resilience to squash bugs and a better flavor. And they usually have a really unusual look to them. They would be more like a squash that you would see in kind of like a winter squash pumpkin display. This is a new one for me this year. It's called Honey Nut. And this is one that I've done before, Panamerian. It's a French or Italian winter squash that I get from Seed Savers. The Seminole. That's a Native American variety. And then I've saved some seeds from some Seminole from last year. I also have saved seeds from spaghetti squash. We do love spaghetti squash, or at least I do. Yeah, that's all spaghetti squash and Seminole. So those are the ones that we're going to do this year. That one's so full, it won't even close. Peppers. I do not have that much success with peppers in this garden. I do not have that much success with peppers in this garden. But it doesn't stop me from trying. So we're trying this one again, the orange spice jalapeno. Trying this one again this year, the lilac bell pepper. That's so beautiful. This is a new one this year. I believe this one's a sweet pepper. Yeah. This is a seasoning pepper that I'm trying again this year. And then the only pepper I've had any success with in my garden, well, in this garden, is some goddess peppers that I've been saving. So goddess peppers are like the peppercini peppers. And we love to make a Mississippi pot roast, and it requires a whole jar of peppercini peppers. So I would really like to grow those again this year, but in more abundance, because we will definitely use that kind of pepper. Cucumbers. So sometimes I have a lot of success with cucumbers, sometimes I don't. Some years we have so much that we put up pickles for years, and then other times I don't even get a single cucumber. Last year was not a good year, so I did not have a whole lot of seeds that I could save. So here are some that I've done all of these before except for one. So Boston pickling, done that one before. Muncher, that's a new one this year. Parisian pickling, done that one before. It's a little less spiny. I already said Boston pickling. Oh, Mexican sour gherkin. That's a new one this year. That one's a vining variety, like that's supposed to be really prolific. I might put it over with like my arch trellis. So 2 new ones this year. I am not going to go over herbs with you because herbs could be a whole another hour-long video. I have every kind of herb you could possibly imagine. Culinary herbs, medicinal herbs, magical herbs. I mean, herbs for teas, herbs for balms, herbs for salves. I have herbs for everything and for days. I love herbs. I have Brussels sprout seeds, but I usually don't plant those. Tomatoes. A lot of people get into gardening for tomatoes and they go cuckoo crazy over tomato seeds. I too have several varieties, but I'm not as crazy as most people are when it comes to tomatoes. This is a new one that I haven't done before, Black Creme. This is from Botanical Interests. This is the first tomato I ever planted, and it was one of my grandparents' favorites, Cherokee. This is an Italian heirloom tomato. It always does pretty good for me. It's like medium. Korean long, this is a completely new one for me this year. I just thought it looked interesting. I always try to do one cherry tomato, and I usually change it up because I don't have any problems growing cherry tomatoes. I did Brad's Atomic Grape last year and couldn't grow a single one, so don't know what happened with that, but I'm trying Black Strawberry this year. Carbon is a new one for me this year. White Tomatillos is one that I got as a free seed package, so we'll try that. Woods Famous, it was like, I mean, it wasn't that prolific and wasn't that noticeable to taste. Rebecca Allen, none of these grew for me. I mean, big plants, no fruit. Hungarian Heart, this is a pretty good paste tomato for me. Amish Paste, try to grow it every single year, never impressed with it. It doesn't put off that many tomatoes and they're not that great. Let's see, ground cherries. This is kind of like a sweet tomatillo cherry tomato. None of these ever grow for me either, but try to every year. And then my absolute favorite, this has done well in my garden, in this garden year over year, is Kellogg's Breakfast. Massive tomatoes, absolutely massive. Excellent for slicer tomatoes. I also make pasta sauce, pizza sauce out of it. It's one of my favorites. Absolutely love peas. These are kind of like garden snacks for us. Lincoln is one of my favorites that we use every year. Just any kind of like regular snow pea too. I mean, I just get them at like Lowe's or whatever, as long as they're organic. You know, any kind of sweet pea, snow pea. Broccoli. We eat a lot of broccoli, and we have a lot of success growing broccoli here. And I actually just grow a very basic broccoli. This is a Destiny hybrid that I got from Mountain Valley Seeds a couple of years ago, and that's really well for us. But I did want to try a broccoli raw, so this one is a new one for this year. Beets. So, beets and radishes. I do not have very much success growing beets, but I do grow a hell amount of radishes, and they're delicious. I actually have some pickled radishes in my refrigerator that I'll have to show you how to make. Super good. One of my favorite things to have with sandwiches this year. French breakfast. This is like a long, skinny radish. And radishes are spicy if you grow them in the heat and milder if you grow them in the cold. So depending on if you like a spicy or hot radish, I mean a spicy or not spicy radish, just depends on what time of year. That one's also a good one. Malaga, something like that. Gina Sicily. This is like your standard red radish. I love these pusas. They're like a purple stripy radish. They're really pretty. And then we have 5-color silver beets. And then we have these golden beets. And then we have these Crosby red beets. Now, I need to get better at growing beets I want to grow big fat beets, but they just don't get very big in my garden. I think I'm probably nutrient deficient or doing something wrong with them, and we just have to learn that together. Some new ones this year that I've never done before is a Rutabaga. I've never even had a Rutabaga before, but I hear that you can replace potatoes with them. So I'm trying to grow that this year. And a Kohlrabi. Never had a Kohlrabi before. Never grown a Kohlrabi before. But I got it as a free seed pack, so we're going to try that this year too. Green beans. So some people like to go crazy with green beans too, but really I have two favorites. The dragon tongue bush bean, and then rattlesnake pole bean. They look about the same. They're a very speckledy green bean in different colors, kind of like an Easter egg. But then when you cook them, they turn to green. But they're really, really beautiful when they're raw. I also have some red swan bush beans left over from last year. Wasn't that impressed. Also did the purple potted pole beans. Not impressed with those either. Really pretty, because it's pretty to have all the different colored beans when they're raw. But once they're cooked, they all turn green, so their uniqueness is gone. And they didn't have a unique enough flavor for me to care. I will tell you, I have tried noodle beans, and I do not care for them. They have a very different flavor. They, to me, taste very earthy, like a mushroom almost. And I do love mushrooms, but I don't like when my green beans taste like mushrooms. Okay. So lettuces, love lettuces, grow a bunch of different types of lettuces. This is a free seed that I got that's new to me, Merlot. I'm gonna try that one. Tom Thumb, this is a new one for me. May Queen, this is a new one. Solar Flare, this is a new one. Gustav Salad. And then I also grow other things like arugula. I got this one from Seed Savers. I like a little bit of arugula in my salad. My kids don't like it so much, but I like it. Cauliflower, we do great with cauliflower every year. I just get the same kind every year. Early Snowball from Seed Savers. Okra. Okra is almost required in a southern garden. I like to do Texas varieties if I can. So this one is an Eagle Pass. It is a fat, shorter variety, really great for frying because it makes nice big coins that you could do the frying with. And then I like to do something that's really prolific. So I have the prolific ones to do like canning with, or do soups and stews and that kind of thing. And then the fat ones I use for frying. So heavy hitter, that one's a very prolific one. And then I also save the seeds from. That's a really easy one to save seeds from. Cabbage, make my own sauerkraut. And we like to use cabbage in soups and stews. And just to have as side dishes too. This is one that I've had for several years. I really just think it's beautiful. I love that purple vein in it. And then red cabbage. This is what I make sweet German pickled cabbage out of. Brunswick cabbage. This one's really good for kraut. I have some more flowers. So Empress of India is a nasturtium, which is an edible flower. You can also eat the leaves, and it has kind of like a spicy and or lemony flavor to it, depending on which variety you get. The Empress of India is red flowers, and like I said, they're edible. You can also, the seed pods on it when they're green, you can use in place of capers, which is really interesting too. I've never done that, but I've tasted it before when other people have done it. So this is a salmon aster. That's a new one for me. I had blue daisies before, but these are blue African daisies. And then other seeds that other people have given me that I will not plant this year, like morning glories and frangipanis. And then sunflowers. This is a new one, red torch. Isn't that pretty? This is looks like a larger sunflower. Chocolate cherry sunflower. This is actually on the cover of Baker's Creek this year. Gold ring. This is a smaller sunflower. This is really good for cutting for the table. Hopi black dye. This is a very heavy-headed sunflower that makes these really dark seeds that actually dye your hands when you touch them, and you can use them for dye as well as a natural dye. All right, those are all my seeds. I'm glad I finally got this video out for you. And next time we are going to go over my setup for seeds, as far as like what types of equipment I have and tools that you need and how you could get started doing seed starts. So we'll talk about that next time. Thank you so much for your time today, and have a great rest of your week.
I have a dog.
Didn't want to record. Okay, well, hey vlog. It's Lindsay's favorite stepdaughter. I'm pretty cool.
You better watch out, that might end up on YouTube.
Okay, hey world. You want to see my fit check? I feel like such a little pro. Oh, you can't really see anything. Okay. Overalls, because I had no clean pants. My stepsister got this for me, Lindsay's favorite daughter. I'm the favorite stepdaughter. Anyway, this is my dad's shirt. I'm wearing my grandma's turtleneck and some Vans from like my freshman year of high school. Thanks for coming. See you later. Have fun watching ranch stuff. Bye.